Hey, what is up guys? It is your boy Speed here, and today I read a comment, or yesterday I read a comment, where someone was basically saying that they're curious on what low MAR players could do against Smurfs. How do you deal with Smurfs in general? And I think this is a really good question. It's something that can be very useful for people, and it's something that, even if you learn how to deal with Smurfs, it's basically just gonna tell you how to play at a higher level, because that's essentially what it means. When you ask the question, how do I deal with a Smurf? It's basically asking like, how do I play better? Like, I'll be honest, that's just kind of what the question is, which is great, because I want to talk about that here today. I want to talk about how this enemy team could have dealt with my Meepo in the game I posted, I believe it was yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, in the game I posted yesterday. And it's going to be really great, because if you watch this video, you'll see how I won that game. And now you'll be able to see the other side of the equation, so you can really get a good idea of how you can change your gameplay, especially if you know you're going against a pesky little Smurf. Okay, so first off, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to help us grow. I appreciate it as always. And yeah, subscribe to the gameleap website. I recently made a video talking about team synergy and how I played my miraculous Tusk. And now let's get into the video. So honestly, just to be very clear, I think this is a good learning point. Before we even get towards the mid game, honestly, there isn't too much the enemy team can do to shut me down at this point of the game. The best play they maybe could make, and like this is a big maybe, the best play they maybe could make is to block some of my camps with some observers and sentry wards. That would be pretty viable. But the downside to making that play is that you obviously have to spend your time not laning, not helping your teammates, and rather blocking camps. And so in the early game, the frank answer is very often against a hero like Meepo. If you don't have like a mid laner that counters Meepo hard, you can't do that much against him. And so don't try to. Hear me out, guys. If you can't counter a hero and you can't do anything to them, do not grief your own game. The best thing you can do, instead of wasting your time dealing with someone you can't, is spending your time shutting down other heroes. So for instance, the enemy team at this point in the game, because as I said, I don't think there's much they could do to me. What they could do is they could run a couple heroes at Monkey King. Very gankable hero, right? Low HP pool. They could just go on him with the slaughter. Oh my gosh! What? I need 2 points of sprint! That is so bad. Woo! But they could run at this guy, right? As long as they brought like the Wyvern and the Snapfire, they could potentially kill him. And then they have a Lifestealer, and Lifestealer, it's actually pretty hard for him to lane against Necro bottom, so he might need a little bit of help, but Necro went mana boots, so maybe he's okay, I don't know. But yeah, I really do mean that, guys. I think the biggest thing that the enemy team is doing wrong now is playing way too static. If they're concerned about me getting very far, right? And that's the big thing you have to judge. Is this a really good Meepo game? Because if it's not, you actually can sort of ignore him. You can, but you still should put pressure on the other lanes, because let's say you feel like the enemy mid laner is playing Alk, right? Or they're playing Meepo, or they're playing Medusa. What is the typical thought process of most players, okay? What is the typical thought process? The typical thought process is that you need to run at them. You have to kick them out of their jungle. But what's the problem with that play? What's the problem with kicking people out of the jungle? Very often you're running into areas with no vision. You're spending no time in side lanes, so the enemy team will free farm the side lanes. And so it's very difficult to do that unless you have heroes that can do that, like a Clockwork or an Ember Spirit or a Void Spirit. If you don't have these high mobility heroes, invading the jungle is brutally difficult. And so what's better off, like your better option when you're against these greedy heroes, is to go pick a side lane and run it at them. Because I can't help the side lanes. At least I couldn't. Now I'm pretty strong and I could TP in and help. But let's say I was playing Alk. It's a very heavy Smurf hero and a very heavy farm hero, very similar to Meepo. Then what they could do is they could pick on a side lane, destroy the side lane, make my team so useless that in the mid game, all they have to do is focus me and they'll win the fights. Right, and that's kind of what they could have done this game, but they put very little pressure on the side lanes. For instance, this guy is level 6, right? This guy is also level 6. This guy's level 7. All they need to do is work together, not take 4 points in sprint. All they need to do is work together, right? And then make some plays. And funny enough here, I honestly make a mistake. I make them work together. And this is a big learning point, okay? I want everyone to really think about what I'm about to say. The only time people work together is when their teammates are getting gone on. Why is that? I don't know. Actually, I do know. It's because it's like, oh, just help the teammates. That's the only time people react. It's when they're getting gone on. If you want to shut down Smurfs and you want to kill their teammates, you have to work together proactively around your spikes. Are they strong right now? The answer is absolutely. This troll is very powerful. He could TP in if you want him to, right? If you call him over, the Slaughter is fine on his own. They have plenty of high damage nukes. They can easily work together, but they're not, right? They're not. Actually, they do eventually when we barely track down this Snapfire and they end up killing us. And as I said, that's only because, think about this, it's only because I went on them. If I didn't go on them, I could just hit creeps for the next 5 to 10 minutes and they would never bother me. And that's a problem, right? And now that I look back at this game, if I just want to win 100% of the time, I won't gank a lane like this. The only lane I'll gank is lanes where they're diving and they can't TPN, because then this could never happen to me. They can't counter gank me like this, right? Also, another thing that's very bad about this gameplay, and it's funny because sometimes people do overthink Dota, and that's the reason why they lose. Like, I can't stress this enough. What is Lifestealer doing? What is he doing? Guys, you don't have to shut down the opponent if that's not what your heroes do, right? Sometimes it's okay to let them farm. So, for instance, right here, the Necro, he's just chilling farming some camps. Who cares? He doesn't even farm it that fast. It's pretty slow. The Lifestealer has the free opportunity to free farm bottom right now. And he's just, I don't know, running at a Necro. Why? I know the Slaughter is here, but you're running at, like, this guy with Ghost Shroud and a wand. By the way, props to my man Ice. My man Ice, taking Ghost Shroud. You know he's good at the game, right? But there's no reason for them to do this. This is so low skill. Go watch a bunch of Lifestealer games, guys. This is what I mean. You need to, if you're gonna pick a hero, you need to go watch a pro game before you play it. You will never see them roaming like this with this amount of items. Maybe when they have Armlet, they'll make a play, right? Because that's a power spike, right? But not like this. Look what he's gonna do in this fight. He's hitting this guy for like 3 damage. And you might be saying, oh, but he helps get a kill. He infests the Slaughter. Like, things look pretty good. Yeah, he played it well. Don't get me wrong. He played that fight well. But the thing is, the entire time, he's hit 0 creeps. So he really gets very little gold. Also, I have no clue why my team is still going in. But you can see the whole time he's not hitting creeps. And it ends up being a pretty easy fight for me. You can see, look, from a Smurfs perspective, what he is doing is giving me such a good game. So talking about how to counter Smurfs, if you want to counter Smurfs and you're a hard carry, do not push towers like a psycho. Do not dive towers like a psycho. You are asking the Smurf to clean you up, and they always will clean you up because good players understand this is the fights they want to take. Go back to my game. It's very funny. You could go back to my Meepo video, put them side to side. This point of the game from their perspective, this point of the game from my perspective. I believe I said something along the lines of, this looks like a really good fight because it's under my tower, right? I'm like, this looks like a really good fight. I TP in, they're diving. Now it makes a very easy setup on for me to set up on the Snapfire. I kill him off, and yeah, things are looking pretty dang good. I even should have netted the Lifestealer. But you see what I'm saying? That enables me to get a really nice comeback kill, only because they're diving. And that's what I mean. Just farm sometimes, right? Farming can actually prevent you from dying, funny enough. It can actually keep your team alive, because the only reason why Snapfire dies is because the Lifestealer went sicko mode. And then here, this is just very bad map awareness. Once again, he's just not able to identify the map as well as he should. I understand why he goes bottom here, I do. But look at this. This is the mindset of so many carry players. They always feel like they have to show up and watch every single fight. I understand why he's looking, but there is a 0% chance he can TP into this fight. It's so far away. Right? It's not close to the tower. If this was under his tower, I would love for him to look, but it's not. This is not a play for him to make. He needs to find safe farm. But because he's busy looking up top at a fight he can never show up to, it's literally under a tower, he walks into me without even knowing it. He's dying and he doesn't even know. What? That's what I mean. Like, you can't get so distracted with every single fight. And it was funny, in this game, I literally said this Lifestealer is so useless. This is why he's useless. When you're against a Smurf, you need to scale, because they're gonna scale. I can guarantee you that for sure. They will always scale. They understand, Smurfs understand that these games will almost always go late. At least 30 minutes, the large majority of the time, unless someone tilts out of their mind, right? And that's what I mean. Once again, look what he's doing. Look what he's doing. Look what he's doing. Look what he's doing. Every single time. Like, this fight makes a lot more sense to TP into, but still, right? Still, where should he have gone, guys? Answer this for me. Where should he have gone? Because mid is basically already over, right? Where should he have gone? Top, right? Farm up top, kill the camp, kill the ancients, then maybe rotate to mid, farm the mid wave, back to the camps, maybe push out top lane, just chill over there. That's why he should do this game, right? Over and over and over again. This is why people lose to Smurfs. It's because they try to shut them down. You can't. most of the time. Like it's way too hard. Your teammates will never be a high enough level to work together, like to really invade the jungle properly. You can work together to like smoking side lanes and occasionally invade the jungle, like if you're really, really lucky. But you definitely can push in lanes and then call people for like side lane ganks, right? That's something I see a lot. Not necessarily smoke ganks, but you can call them for side lane ganks, right? Remember I was talking about the Monkey King top? They could have ganked him multiple times. Multiple times. They could have ganked the Necro bottom multiple times. If he just set up there, was farming, right? Chilling, getting his item timings, they could easily set up. And if he has a good armlet timing, he could easily kill them with them. But that's not what happened. Also, another thing to talk about, smoke a deceit. You'll just never, like the best way to kill a smurf, and hear me out on this, the best way to kill a smurf is to put a hero in a side lane, right? Put a hero in a side lane and then sit behind them. See what I'm saying? You put a hero in a side lane and sit behind them and you'll kill the smurf a lot. Because smurfs, they kind of assume the worst of you, I'll be honest, right? They assume the worst. Not always, right? In this game in here, I actually remember being pretty careful. I was a bit nervous of being ganked. I didn't see any of them. I actually kind of assumed they were in this area, but they'll often assume the worst and they'll jump. I even got scanned here, funny enough. This is what I mean, like, this is a good gank by them, but they're not working together. Like, if they just bring the Snapfire here, and the Wyvern, and the Slaughter, they could kill me. But they just never are on the same page. Like, this guy finds me, and he curses me, that's awesome. This is a good play, but Slaughter's not close, Snapfire's not here. This is how you can counter Smurfs. Work to freaking together, because Smurfs, they love to play alone, right? Good players, and players with a lot of net worth, especially these pick-off heroes like Meepo and like split-pushy heroes like Meepo, the way you pick them up, just pick at the lane. Like you see where my team is, you see where the enemy team is, you go to the exact opposite side of the map, and you can assume they'll be there. You click a smoke, you run, you kill them. Boom, right? Enemy team top, Smurfs probably bottom, you kill them. In fact, they even do kill me here. They do kill me, which is great. It was close though, right? It was very, very close. So honestly, respect to them for this play. Like being frank, it was not well executed. Overall, the Wyvern was doing a great job, honestly. Praising the Wyvern here. Great job by the Wyvern. I don't love his blink rush really, but hey, I guess it makes some sense against Meepo. I prefer Aether, but the point is, right? The point is, no matter what you are doing, if you need to shut down a hero, you must bring ample heroes. If you are against the Smurf heroes, the Morphlings, the Alks, and the Meepos, and you go in one by one, or you make plays like that, they will often not work out. Even there, they killed me, and my team was like the same on net worth because we're just split pushing. It took them way too long to kill me. Upcoming here, we're going to see a great play. Honestly, I watched this back, and I'm a bit surprised to see something, this nice. This is awesome. But this is what they need to do over and over again. And so what you're about to watch is what you need to reciprocate in your solo queue games. You see how this Wyvern has a smoke? He pings the Slaughter, tells the Slaughter to come back, pops the smoke. Just clicks it. Doesn't need all of his heroes, doesn't need his troll, doesn't need his lifestealer. You take the tempo heroes and you make a play. Then they're running over. They wanted to kill the Monkey King top, but lucky for them, they bumped into me going for the Roshan. At least, yeah. So the smoke broke on the Roshan. This is when I was trying to sneak the Rosh with the Venge, and I was like, what? How did they find me? How did they know? It was actually kind of a lucky smoking, funny enough, and they realized it. But unfortunately for the Wyvern, he cursed the Venge, which is such a bummer because they would have killed me. Oh, why did he curse Venge? That's so sad. Like literally, if he curses this amped Meepo, I'm so dead. Like I'm instantly dead. They take Roshan, and this whole game goes in their favor, which is funny because I didn't even realize this in the moment. I guess I didn't think about it in the game. But yeah, a little bit of a spell casting. And so here's a quick tip. If you know there's a main hero on the enemy team that you have to focus, you need to tell your team to focus them. Everyone has to be on the same page against these, Smurf-esque heroes. Because typically how these games go is if you kill the big hero, you win the fight, right? And so they have to be on the same page. Maybe Wyvern misclicked there. It kind of looked like he did that on purpose though. Like he hesitated and then picked the guy. But yeah, that was definitely a big mistake on his part, frankly. It really was, because now I was able to actually clean up the Roshan here. I was able to leave and go back in. And that's another thing. This is a bit tough to deal with, because people, it's very hard to remember to go for Roshan. It's very, very difficult, but it's something you got to keep in the back of your mind, because that's the thing about becoming Haimamar. It's often just about thinking of the best play you can make 10, 15 seconds before the opponent does, right? The only reason why they caught me in the Roche pit was kind of luck, to be honest. But hey, great smoke play by them. That's what they had to do over and over again. Would have worked out perfectly for them. Just a little bit of a spell casting issue. So if he fixes that up, all of a sudden that Wyvern, honestly, I give MVP of the game to him. Not necessarily for all the plays he made. A lot of his spell casting was very bad this game, which is unfortunate because his play calling was good, but his spell casting was very bad. And so that's just something he has to fix within himself because there's no like specific plays or anti-smurf play he can make to counter me. He just has to play the game better, which is kind of funny to say. But yeah, once again, same thing over and over again. You see where my team is. You see how my team is just jungling. Very often, you'll find carry players, and this applies to 5K, 6K, 7K MMR games. So if you're in that bracket, or you ever get to that bracket, one of the best plays you can make is if you're top lane, and the enemy team is not showing, if you smoke directly to bottom, you'll very often find a hero, and it will be a very effective smoke gank. Even here, like I go in the slaughter, imagine if they're just sitting behind the slaughter and they counter-initiate. They could easily win the fight. I just kind of assume the worst, I'll be honest. I assume the worst. And hey, I guess I was kind of right? Wyvern is just sitting in his jungle, you know? Snapfire is sitting in his jungle. Instead of like proactively trying to outplay me and read my mind, they're just sitting in their own jungle. They're so afraid. You can't be afraid against like, you know, players that you think are going to crush you. You actually have to be the opposite. You have to be confident. If you're afraid of them, you'll just get run over at some point, frankly, because they're going to outfarm you. They're going to outfight you. They're going to pick off your teammates. You have to be proactive. Someone has to rally the team. I mean that. That's the best way. Like, you kind of see that that's the main theme of this video, right? If you can't beat the Smurf mechanically, he's just a better mechanical player than you. The way you can beat them is communication and synergy, right? And I know I muted my team. Funny enough, somebody even commented about it in the Meepo game, like I muted my team. Yeah, I did. But you see, I actually still made calls that game. Funny enough, I mute them, but I still make calls. It is something you can do, actually, because they can still hear you when you mute them. That's the way to counter these Smurfs, you know, because a lot of the time, I'm a very synergy-based player. I love to work with people and get my team to do things. It's a big way that I personally gained MMR and still do to this day. And, you know, a lot of players struggle with that, so it's something to keep in mind. I call it the Slacks method. Even if you're not mechanically the best, and Slacks is mechanically skilled, but even if you're not mechanically the best, one of the best ways to gain MMR is just to rally the troops. Say hoorah, run in, just kill the enemy team. Okay, but yeah, this was the end of the game. Hope that helps. I hope that gives you guys some ideas. Obviously, there's no one trick. It's not like, use this one trick and instantly beat Smurfs. If that existed, well, I mean, I don't know. I would tell you guys, I guess. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed. Oh, and give me some video ideas. If you guys have anything, like some video ideas you want to see, like top builds, top items, top whatever, or just some ideas you're curious about, leave them in the comment section down below. Obviously, I'm reading the comments. I talk about them quite a bit in the videos. And so, yeah, I'll see you in the next one. But yeah, that's going to be about all, folks. Remember, click the link down below and subscribe to the gameleap website where we have thousands of videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.